All right, let's do this. I just got back from the theater seeing Shin Kamen Rider here in Burbank, California, so I'm basically like one of the last people in the nation to see it as far as showings go for this first day. There's more showings on Monday, but I wanted to jump on here and give you guys my quick first thoughts on the movie. And I'll start with like spoiler-free stuff, and then we'll move into more spoiler territory as this video goes on. I don't know how long this is gonna be yet, but that movie kind of sucked. I gotta preface this with like I don't want to argue with anyone about this because I am very happy that this movie is here. It has come over to the US. I am very happy that you got to see it, and if you enjoy it, that makes me even more happy. I sat in the theater just with that was pretty much it. My arms up in the air and like just taking it for what it was. I had a very fun time. I think this is a very visually good movie, and it has a lot of hype moments visually. If you're a Tokusatsu fan, if you're a Kamen Rider fan, I clapped it, I cheered a couple times with everybody else. It's just the rest of the movie, there's just nothing really there. It's not a spoiler in that you know that we have our double riders, Takeshi Hongo and Hayato Ichimoji. I just literally, this movie's boring until Ichimoji shows up, and then he just completely outshines our main character, Takeshi Hongo. And I feel like even that would be fine if that wasn't 40 minutes into this movie. From what I can tell, Shin Kamen Rider follows the Shin Ultraman style of like the pacing wise, the first couple bits being the first couple episodes of the season, or like little arcs of the season, and it just doesn't do it that well. I feel like the sections of the first part of the movie really want us to like be tied to these characters and like hold them close and have this emotional connection to them that it doesn't really earn in that first part of the movie. It all just kind of flies by really fast while just feeling super slow. But there's one place where the movie like really exceeds and then really fails, and that's in just the cinematography of the whole thing. It's shot like it's supposed to be in the 70s Kamen Rider, the first Kamen Rider series, which is great, and it looks good at points. And then there are some points in the cinematography and even the dialogue where it feels like this is a tokusatsu that was translated into an anime that was translated back to a tokusatsu, and there's just a lot of puzzling things going on there. Like, there are a lot of moments in this movie that I don't think were supposed to be played for laughs that had the entire theater laughing. Dark moments, like death moments that had the entire theater literally rolling and clapping when it's like, this I don't think this is the feeling that was supposed to be conveyed here. There's just a lot of like awkward dialogue sprinkled in, and I don't know if it's like the subs or the translations, who knows. It had the theater rolling. That's the best way I can explain it. But my biggest gripe is that so much of this movie is told to us through exposition. We're not watching it as it happens in real time. We're being told why it's important way later on the fact, on multiple scenes, and it's crazy for me to say that I feel like they talk too much in this movie, but man, do they talk too much. But it wasn't all bad. I don't want to make this video just to shit on the movie, because some of the things were really great. I really loved Hayato and his characterization. I think he was fantastic. I really like Takeshi, and I really like Ruruko. I think the actors and their portrayal of the characters was really well done. The action is all over the place, honestly. The first action sequence we get, which was released online a few months ago, just has like the blood splatters and everywhere, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand what I'm getting in for. And then the second action sequence, when Takeshi is fighting the Shocker foot soldiers and they're like shocking him and stuff, that looks really cool and really well done. It's like, this is tokusatsu. And then there are action sequences much later in the film where it's like, all right, I understand why we need CGI, but like, let's get through it already. Let's go to the next one. I guess what I'm trying to say is that in some certain Showa era aspects, there's a lot of love and care put into Shin Kamen Rider. And then in other aspects, there's just not. Some things are kind of puzzling, and you just kind of go with it because it's Kamen Rider and it's cool. And like I said, it's the first time this is happening. It's this big event, and I love that, and I want you to enjoy it, and I want everyone to enjoy it. I'm just letting you know that it's not really a good movie to me. But whether you love or you hate it, I would love to know your opinion in the comments down below. Tell me what you liked about it. Tell me what you didn't like about it. Try to keep spoilers kind of easy in the comments. But in this next section of the video, let's go into complete spoiler territory. And I'm gonna start out with something I absolutely love about this movie, and that is the ending. I don't mean that in the way of like, oh, I loved it when it ends. I think the ending of this movie is just perfect. Hayato taking over as the Kamen Rider and deciding to work with I guess the government? The repainting of the suit, him saying this makes him feel better, just everything about it felt really good. I just wish that we had spent more time with Hayato and Hongo together, because at this point they weren't really like homies. Hayato broke his leg and then just killed the chameleon dude, and then came back and was like, hey bro, sorry, but I'm not working with you, and then works with him for one fight. So more of brothers through battle than literally any other emotional connection, which I'll take in the ending of this movie. I just think it was done really well. I think the Kamen Rider double aspect of it, the 2-in-1 rider riding away, was pretty cool. And it ended on such like a happy and uplifting note that I didn't expect, honestly. The final fight with the butterfly og, I also think was fantastically done. I love, this is what I'm talking about, the fight scenes. Like the fight scene between Takeshi and Hayato, at first I was like, okay, I get why it's like super CGI here. And then I was like, oh my God, can we go to the next thing? I don't need this so much CGI. Whereas I think the final fight scene with the butterfly og just nailed it. I loved every single one of those camera shots until they were like rolling around on the floor. I think that went like super long and got awkward. But when he's like showing off his powers and punching at the camera and swiping, and it's got those effects going and their blood is coming out the mouth, that is what I want to see out of tokusatsu on the big screen. When you tell me this medium has the power to transcend and go to the bigger screen and like stand toe to toe with the bigger things on the silver screen, that is what they are talking about. That is what I want to see more of. And I think that fight scene like just so beautifully interpreted tokusatsu fights like that. So I think those two aspects of the movie are really well done. I just wish it didn't take so goddamn long to get there, because when they're going through the Ogs at first, the Spider Og fight is great, quick. It shows you like who the Kamen Rider is and what they're capable of. I think that's fantastic. And then we go into the Bat Og and the Hornet Og, and by the time we get to the, not the Hornet, the Wasp, by the time we get to the Wasp Og, it really wants us to have this emotional connection to Ruriko, and it wants us to really care for this Wasp lady, or Hiromi, I think her name is. And you just don't. There's just nothing there that like really makes you feel for this person. They're just the third person that pops up that we need to kill to go to the next thing, and we don't really have a solid like overarching villain at that point, besides like the AI who doesn't get what's coming to them in this movie. I don't know, maybe like that's for the next one. I don't know if there's going to be a next one. There probably won't be, but I understand that like for Kamen Rider to exist, Shocker had to still be around, so that's probably why the robot dude is still around by the end. But knowing a lot of facts about the original series will take you a lot farther in this movie, like when Ichimonji finally comes on and does the Henshin pose and says Henshin, my theater got hyped. I got hyped. I was like, let's go. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh, that's because that stuff didn't start happening until Ichimonji took over. And like I said, as soon as Ichimonji comes in, I think this movie gets a lot better and gets a lot more focused on what it wants to be, which is great. That's where the story finally kicks in. The problems I had before with the cinematography and the shots are still kind of there. It definitely seems like Hideaki Anno was like, okay, put the suit on. We gotta shoot. We don't got a ton of time. We don't got permits for this section on some parts, or like just really loves his shaky cam. But it is what it is. I think I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think the movie was like absolutely batshit terrible. I wouldn't ever watch it again. I just think it was like, it was fine. The visuals were a lot of the best part, except when they weren't. I don't think the tunnel fight was good at all. I think the best part of that was them finally teaming up and doing the double rider kick and like the explosion happening. Everyone got hyped off of that. I was just like you couldn't see anything, and from what I've heard, it wasn't just a problem in my theater. A lot of theaters you couldn't see anything, and it was just shot that way, which is crazy. And of course, just to touch on them real quick, I gotta talk about the suits. I think these suits are a great, just a fantastic updated version of our normal Kamen Rider 1 and 2 suits. Even the butterfly Og I think is absolutely beautiful. I would buy that belt. I would buy these Typhoon belts. I think they look great. I think the way they interact with the world around them is super cool. The suits are like 10 out of 10. I really got nothing bad to say about them. I think one of the coolest things about them is like when they started fighting between the two of them, I looked at Hayato and I was like, man, his suit doesn't look great. It looks like there's just way too much space here. He's got a long neck. It is what it is. And then when she put the scarf on him, I was like, holy shit, that's what it was. That's what was missing. And it was just such a cool moment in my mind to be like told visually that like, this looks wrong for a reason, but you'll get to it. Don't worry. And then when she finally puts it on him and I'm like, boom, there he is. That's Hayato. That's Nigo. Like, let's go. Yeah, a lot of rambling, but those are my thoughts coming right out of the theater for Shin Kamen Rider. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. And maybe we'll get like a full discussion going about this stuff. Because like I said, big, gigantic, monumental occasion for Kamen Rider fans. I am happy for you. I am happy for me. I'm happy for everyone. I don't care that I didn't like it that much. I love that you guys loved it or didn't like it. I love that we all got to see it together. That's really what I'm going for here.